everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about the readings for week 4. Um, this week was a little interesting as both readings were about the same person but written from two different points of view in two different books. Um, so a lot of the things that I found interesting from both readings kind of come together a little bit as both readings did mention similar things or kind of mention the same things but talking about them in some different contexts. Um, so in the first reading, there were a few things that I did find interesting. One was that um, Stella had kept the same principles as Stanislavski when it came to imagination and action and everything, teaching actors that in the circumstances. With her, in the reading, it was said that if the actors could not draw emotions from the character it was that they were supposed to be portraying, it stated that she had allowed them to act or pull from parallel experiences that they have had to kind of pull out the emotion or the actions that they are needing for that role. And in the reading, it did kind of go a little bit deeper, talking about how if they were portraying a specific role but wasn't sure how, then they needed to go out and study somebody who is in that role. So, for example, if you were an actor, I guess, who would be portraying a teacher, and you had absolutely no idea how to portray, like, maybe that particular teacher character in that role. A lot of times, and I think a lot of actors still kind of use this today, will kind of go out and study, teachers or what they would do, how they command the classroom, and different things like that. A lot of actors will go and do it with multiple people in that role. Sometimes they'll just study one and then that's it, and they kind of get an idea of what they need to do. But they're only doing it for purposes of trying to understand how to play certain aspects of that character. I do find it really interesting that she kind of kept the same concept as he did, but that was also her take on it, as if they couldn't portray it in that way, then she allowed them to draw from parallel experiences. I find it absolutely amazing that she was able to set up not one, but two actor studios, and she was also able to set them up in two major cities in the U.S., both cities which are very popular for performers, whether it be theater or film. So I find it extremely awesome that she was able to do two studios and that they still continued after she passed and still kept up with the work that she was doing, which brings me to the readings from the second essay, where it is talked about kind of how the studios operated once she was gone, how they did keep a lot, or well, pretty much all of the ideas and methods that she was teaching with, just kind of pushing forward with them, but they are definitely keeping her core principles there. I think that that is amazing because it definitely shows that they had enough respect for her and also found what she was doing great enough that they were like, this needs to keep going. It doesn't need to be changed to the core values. In that second reading, they also talk about her grandson and how he kept things going with the school up in New York. They talk about how he and the school expanded things, how they have, how it is required for, if I remember correctly, it said first year students to take a class that kind of is based on her principles and like what she taught, or like a lot of those methods. I think that that is extremely amazing that they have done that with the actors there, and that they are also keeping what she taught and her methods in mind with a lot of the stuff that they're doing with their expansion of, but they're also kind of pushing forward and modernizing up to like, like this is what she was doing then, so let's make that work for right now. I think that that is extremely amazing that they're doing that. A lot of times people tend to think that if you have taught something, and it doesn't really matter what realm, whether we're talking about acting or any other subject, but like if you were to teach something of how to do it like 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, it doesn't matter that they think that something is going to change with the methods that they're using. But what a lot of people don't realize is that while those methods might need to be brought to like what it is you're doing now, a lot of those core values and beliefs and things and techniques that you're using stay the same, and that they don't need to change because they do work and they do apply to what it is you're doing now. A lot of times you do kind of have to push forward with that stuff in terms of like making certain things work for now, but a lot of those core beliefs and values are definitely the same. And I think that is extremely awesome that they're still continuing with what she did. And it was also mentioned that in the reading that a lot of her trusted colleagues were not former students of hers, but people that had learned their craft somewhere else. But then they saw what it was that she was doing and put a lot of their trust into her, because even though that's not where they studied, they thought that what she was doing was really, really great work. That they weren't going to say anything bad or negative about it, that they were going to actually positively promote her as well. So I think that is extremely awesome. That was a lot of the work that she did, and that it is still continuing to this day. All right, well, I hope that you enjoyed this video on our readings for week 4, and I can't wait to talk about next week's.